Two stages taking place in Bristol today. The first is a time trial over 14.2 kilometres. And the early pace setter was the Commonwealth Games gold medalist, Alex Dowsett, riding on Movistar. He powered his way to the line to close out in 18 minutes and 41 seconds. To put him right at the top of the leaderboard in the early stages. Taylor Phinney, the American champion, geeing up the crowd at the start.
Yeah, the American champion just slipping off the start line and on his way around the course. And it was on this corner, he just overcooked it a little bit, slid out, ripped his skin suit. He's back on the bike, but he did set the fastest time at the halfway mark, 8 minutes and 13 seconds. So he was going fast, but unfortunately, off in that corner, he lost a few seconds.
So we're now looking at the German champion and former multi-world champion, and that was Tony Martin. And Tony Martin riding in good form. He caught his minute man as we looked at Taylor Phinney coming up to the line, and he closed out with a good time of 18:46.
It's a strong effort, and it was ifs and buts if he hadn't crashed, but it was a good performance by the American champion.
And then it was the turn of Tony Martin to come over the line, and Tony Martin put himself right at the head of the standings with a time of 18 minutes and 6 seconds, 35 seconds quicker than Alex Dowsett.
And it was all well for Alex Dowsett on the Alpecin hot seats, and it wasn't to be today. Gorka Izagirre coming across the line. He set a very good time of 18 minutes and 31 seconds, which is good enough for the top 10.
And then we were looking at Rowan Dennis, the Australian champion, who was literally roaring around the course. Dennis flying. 8:13 he posted at the halfway point, and the final man to go was the yellow jersey of Cummings as Tony Gallopin came in to post a time of 18:31. Back out on the course, we got a glimpse of the style then of Tom Dumoulin.
So the yellow jersey of Steve Cummings set out the day with a healthy advantage, but this man here, Rowan Dennis, was setting some very fast times out in the course.
Dennis storming round the course and finally stopped the clock at 18 minutes and 9 seconds. An incredible ride by Dennis, just 3 seconds shy of the leading time of Tony Martin. Then it was the storming effort of Tom Dumoulin coming up to the line, and he stopped the clock at 18 minutes 11, and the time by Dennis and Dumoulin meant that they would be locked together, equal second in the overall standings. But then it was Steve Cummings who came in with a great ride at the end, 18 minutes and 22 seconds, which was good enough to keep him in the yellow jersey. But the winner of the time trial was Tony Martin with 18 minutes and 6 seconds. Confirmation, the result of the time trial, Martin winning in 18:06, 3 seconds ahead then of Rowan Dennis. And of course up there as well was Tom Dumoulin. Well, they'd hardly had time to catch their breath when the flag dropped, and they were then off on the road race in the afternoon. 6 laps of a 15-kilometre circuit, giving 90 kilometres in all. And straight away, as soon as the flag dropped, a group of 4 riders established a lead. It was Gorka Izagirre and Diego Rubio, Andre Greipel and Boy Van Poppel.
It was a good quartet, and they had a healthy enough advantage of just over 1 minute as they came across the top of the Skoda King of the Mountains points.
And the first King of the Mountains went to Izagirre from Van Poppel and Greipel. Greipel really continuing to power on, and as they got to the Yodel sprint, it was Greipel beating Diego Rubio from Izagirre.
Well, they weren't given much more than 1 minute and 20 seconds as the kilometres went along and the gap started to come down, with Mark Cavendish doing most of the work behind for Dimension Data.
The 4 stubbornly tried to hang on to the lead. As they took the bell, it was about 30 seconds, and they were finally on borrowed time.
An attack by the Bardiani rider Bohem off the front of the peloton, and it was Wisniewski of Ethics Quickstep trying to look after their sprinter Riccesi.
Then there was an attack by Greipel. He was still determined to try and win the stage, and he tried to shake off his breakaway companions. He was quickly brought back, and next it was Izagirre that was trying to go away.
So it was attacking in the breakaway, and this ended pretty much the impetus that the breakaway had with all the attacks. Greipel would get most aggressive rider on this stage.
And slowly but surely they were being pulled back as the peloton began to apply the pressure. Yogi Berra and Stannard for Team Sky came to the head of the peloton, and as we came up the climb for the final time, it was the Australian world hour record holder of earlier in the year, Rowan Dennis, that literally stormed away, heroically distancing himself from the rest. Seconds gain here would elevate him up above Tom Dumoulin into second place. Steve Cummings, the yellow jersey, realised the danger and he took up the chase. But it was all about this man for the stage victory. Rowan Dennis eating up the final metres to the line as the peloton reassembled behind him. But valuable seconds gained here. He finished 6 seconds ahead, plus the 6-second bonus, 12 seconds, which meant it narrowed the gap down on Steve Cummings. The bunch sprint was won by Richesi of Ethics Quickstep, and third went to Dylan Groenewegen, the Dutch champion. But it all belonged to this man here in the closing stages, Rowan Dennis, who clawed back valuable time on Steve Cummings, the yellow jersey.
He's been riding well all week, attacking all week, and it was a great performance by the BMC rider, Dennis.
So he basked in the glory on the podium after to collect the prizes. We confirm the result of the stage. Rowan Dennis winning then from the Argentinian Richesi, third Dylan Groenewegen. And it meant the overall standings had narrowed slightly, but Steve Cummings still in charge with one stage to go, and that would take place in London. Overall standings, 26 seconds. Cummings leads Dennis by, with Dumoulin third at 38.